A young samurai, Jinbei, reaches the big city of Japan, Edo, to serve his duties in insects magistrate office on his father's behalf. Jinbei gets lost, resulting in him being rescued by a nearer tea shop worker, Oharu. At Oharu's shop, which she runs with her grandfather after her parents' death, Jinbei learns the origin of the insect magistrate office. It was built 10 years ago on the Edo people's request for protection against giant insects. After relishing his hunger, Oharu shows Jinbei the way to the magistrate's office, but before Jinbei takes leave, they hear a man scream. Following the cry, when Jinbei and Oharu reach the scream location, Jinbei remains stunned to find a giant spider brutally eating the man. The heart-wrenching scene enrages Jinbei, forcing him to fight against the evil monster. After several tries with his samurai sword, when Jinbei fails to defeat the insect, he gets stopped by Kotori, the head of insect magistrates, who has just arrived on Insect's appearance news. Seeing Kotori, Jinbei introduces himself and explains the reason why he joined him instead of his father is because of a past incident that caused his father to break his leg. At the time Kotori and Jinbei are talking, the spider attacks Oharu and takes her away in its nest. To save Oharu, Jinbei immediately rushes to the spider's nest, but he gets attacked there by a spider swarm. When Jinbei stands helpless with his katana covered in spider silk, the insect magistrates approach the moment and rescue him. Hibachi, the descendant of a ninja clan and a whiz with gunpowder, takes the lead in killing spiders. But Koikawa, a killer of 99 souls and a criminal, does not hold back and cuts the spiders with his sharp sword. And the shy member of Insect Magistrates, Tenba, uses a technique to summon his paper toys to deliver a sharp slap on spiders. The power of the Insect Magistrates impresses Jinbei, and he also tries to fight, but because of being trapped in spider silk, the spider overpowers him and throws him back. However, Jinbei does not lose hope and comes back to battle the spiders with a new will. But because of reaching his limits when Jinbei is about to be eaten by spiders, he gets saved by a very strong and legendary Insect Magistrate, Mugai. Later that night, Kotori meets the Insect Magistrate, who leaves the Insect Magistrate's office, but keeps his identity hidden from everyone. Kotori informs him about Jinbei's father's wounds, that he cannot join them, but he has accepted his son in their team, hoping he will contribute to the peace of Edo. Later, Kotori informs Jinbei how Japan is filled with bugs that eat humans, but even though they first appeared about a century ago, the Insect Magistrate's office is still investigating how it all began. Soon, when the group leaves to kill an insect, Jinbei gets eager to fight for his people, but Kotori stops him and forbids him from drawing his sword for the next month, claiming that no newcomer has lasted more than 10 days, and if something happens to him, they cannot waste more time searching for another person. Jinbei is forced to follow the orders, but he is allowed to roam in the city with Hibachi. While walking on the roads, Jinbei and Hibachi share their thoughts on how much they admire Mugai and want to become strong like him. However, being a newcomer, Jinbei knows less than Hibachi, who reveals a rumor that before the Insect Magistrate, Mugai used to work for an organization called the Insect Hunters. The infamous strong warriors were sometimes hired to take out huge insects. Soon as they approached the river, their eyes were met with a heart-wrenching sight where two innocent civilians were frozen in terror, having just witnessed the brutal murder of several others nearby. Watching this, Hibachi realizes they have entered the demon dragonfly's territory, but before they can leave, they are attacked by one of the insects. Hibachi orders Jinbei to escort the civilians while she plans to fight the dragonfly alone. She then begins to attack the insect with her special bombs, but they are not strong enough to kill the monster. Soon, with its gigantic power and speed, when the dragonfly is about to kill Hibachi, Jinbei suddenly appears and blows him away. Then they attack together, allowing Hibachi to kill the dragonfly with her final attack. Afterward, when they meet Kotori, he asks Jinbei did he draw his sword, to which Hibachi utterly refuses. The following day, Jinbei hits the training grounds with the determination to slice a massive boulder. He knows that if he's going to take on those insects, he must be able to crush that rock. However, despite his best efforts, Jinbei is only able to make a few minor cuts. Soon Koikawa walks toward the rock in his drunken state and recklessly crashes onto it. However, enraged by the unexpected obstacle, he does not just slice the rock in half, but also cuts it into several clean, small pieces. Watching Koikawa's impressive skill, Jinbei gets inspired and begs him to take him as his student. Later, as Koikawa and Jinbei patrol through the city, everyone trembles in fear at the sight of Koikawa, and calls him the infamous slayer of 99 souls. They all begin to pelt him with rocks, but Jinbei, being a kind-hearted man, tries to defend his new friend. However, Koikawa stops him, calmly explaining that it's only natural for the people to hate him, and that anyone who associates with him will suffer the same fate. The following day, while Hibachi and Koikawa argue against fighting the insect, Jinbei gets busy evacuating the civilians, forcing Tenma to fight the huge mantis alone. He hesitates for a second, but then uses his special attack called Full Power Slap and knocks over the insect with only one strike. Later that night, before going to sleep, Tenma prays for his parents and encourages himself that even though he's afraid of bugs, he can still fight them for his people. Suddenly, as he sees a bug, he begins to scream, causing Jinbei to burst into his room. Watching him getting afraid of bugs, Jinbei gets confused as they fight with huge monsters every day but promises to keep it a secret from everyone. Later one night, Jinbei and Hibachi find a masked man who is trying to enter the insect archives. Hibachi thinks he is an intruder and takes him to Kotori, where the masked man introduces himself as Nagatamamoro and reveals that he was planning to enter the insect archive only to study more about bugs. He claims that even though he has read every book about bugs, he is unable to understand why these insects suddenly appear in their world. However, Kotori utterly refuses as the place is sealed, and no one is allowed to enter it. When Nagatamamoro insists, Hibachi gets mad and takes off his mask, revealing his handsome face. Watching this, Kotori realizes he has seen him somewhere before, but as he has a meeting, he just orders him to leave. However, on their way, Nagatamamoro gets attacked by a huge mosquito, but Jinbei approaches in time and saves him. They both then combine their techniques and somehow manage to kill the insect. Later that night, after partying with Jinbei and others, Nagatamamoro sneaks into insect archives, where Kotori finds him and reveals his true identity as the next shogun Tokugawa. However, as Tokugawa has read the secret about their spies, Kotori makes deal with him that he will not disclose his identity if Tokugawa keeps their secret. He agrees and also clears that he will be visiting Jinbei every day from now on. As the summer arrives, a huge king beetle invades the city. The insect magistrate officers, including Hibachi, Koikawa, and Tenma, already begin to evacuate the civilians, while Mugai is also ready to take care of the monster himself. Meanwhile, Jinbei, who is unknown of the facts, meets a strange girl who has blue hair and wears a square-shaped hat with a bell tied on each side. Jinbei offers her to see the firework together, but she refuses, claiming she cannot leave this place. Realizing her situation, Jinbei decides to see the firework with her within the wall of this building. On the other hand, after a fierce fight, Mugai eventually kills the beetle with his ultimate attack. Later that evening, after watching fireworks with Jinbei, the girl rewards him with one of her bells and then suddenly disappears. Afterward, while talking to Kotori and other high-ranking ministers, that young lady is revealed to be insect magistrate. According to custom, every summer the magistrate goes somewhere as refugee, but no one knows where it is, since the ultimate goal of insect hunters is to kill the magistrate. One of their members, Mitsuki, plans to somehow find magistrate's location. Soon she finds Jinbei and tries to lure him with her body, thinking he might know magistrate's whereabouts. However, even after spending the whole day with him, when Mitsuki is unable to win Jinbei's attention against Oharu, she kidnaps her, forcing Jinbei to follow her to her hidden place. When she comes to know that Jinbei is unaware of magistrate's whereabouts, Mitsuki gets mad and decides to kill him. However, soon when Hibachi and others arrive there, Mitsuki is forced to flee. Meanwhile, all other members of insect hunters leave for Hachijo Island as they have found magistrate's hidden place. Hearing the news about insect hunters, every insect magistrate officer and their patrol teams decide to leave for Hachijo Island. However, before they can leave, a huge spider attacks the city, forcing the samurai house patrol team to stay behind and protect Edo. Later, on their way to Hachijo Island, the crew encounters one of the insect hunters, Manako, who appears to be already waiting for them. Watching Mugai, Manako calls him a traitor and using his insane skills easily cuts the ship into pieces. However, when Manako introduces himself as a member of insect hunters, Koikawa gets mad and rushes to attack him as his mother was killed by one of them. Jinbei and Hibachi manage to flee using her flying technique while everyone is forced to fight Manako. Soon afterward, the crew kills him and continues their journey. On the other hand, Hibachi and Jinbei are attacked by one of the insect hunters, causing Jinbei to fall at Magistrate's place while Hibachi is forced to fight a girl named Mashiro. Jinbei thinks the young lady as Magistrate's servant. Soon they are attacked by the insect hunters, but Magistrate dodges their attacks and tries to move the fight away to avoid Jinbei getting caught in it. However, Jinbei follows them and tries his best to save Magistrate. While protecting the Magistrate, Jinbei gets severely injured and becomes unconscious. Watching this, Magistrate cannot hold her emotions and reveal her true form as an immortal Kuro Geha, which means black swallowtail. As the battle proceeds, not a single attack is able to pass through her shield, but the hunter's evil insect-slaying blade makes it through intact and pierces her chest, causing her powers to fade. However, before the insect hunters can kill Jinbei and Magistrate, Mugai arrives on time and begins to fight with his former comrades. Soon Kotori and others arrive and retrieve Jinbei and Magistrate. Meanwhile, Koikawa fights with Gaikatsu, who is revealed to be her mother's killer. Koikawa gets mad and using his three-sword style eventually kills Gaikatsu. On the other hand, one of the insect hunters shatters the mountain, forcing Magistrate to carry Jinbei with her. Soon they are attacked by Sobun, one of the insect hunters who wants Magistrate to die at any cost. But before he can harm them, Jinbei suddenly awakes and strikes him down, but he appears to be overcome by a mysterious force, transforming him into a fearsome monster. After severely getting beaten by Jinbei, Sobun is forced to use his ultimate attack, but Jinbei, with lightning speed and supernatural strength, not even dodges his attack but also kills him with only one strike. He then rushes to save his friends, but his transformation was far from over as Jinbei struggled to regain control and attacks his friends. Soon when he faces the insect hunters, he gets mad and unleashes his powers to massive extent, eventually destroying everything around him. However, when one of the insect hunters, Shido, is about to kill the Magistrate, Jinbei suddenly attacks Shido and manages to save the Magistrate. Jinbei's transformation makes him feeble and causes him to sleep instantly. On the other hand, the insect hunters are forced to flee as they have already lost their few members and cannot fight Mugai and others at the same time. In the meantime, Edo has fallen in chaos, with huge insects attacking every house. Since no one is left in shape to fight with insects, Samurai House Patrol leader Ogami hits the battleground to protect Edo, even if it costs his life. On the other hand, after returning to Edo, Jinbei and others also contribute in making peace in Edo again. However, in their absence, everything was not lost as Jinbei's father had arrived in Edo and killed several insects alone with his ultimate abilities. His father plans to teach him all 36 techniques he created in his youth. Jinbei tries his best, but due to short time, he only manages to master a few techniques, including Fuji Hammer. When Jinbei and other members of the Insect Magistrate are on leave, military officer Shiresagaki approaches the office and scolds Kotori for their absence. He then showcases Kotori the 5 amazing cannons that he believes are enough to protect the city even in the team's absence. Elsewhere, a stranger reaches Edo and asks the natives for Insect Magistrate office. When a stranger fails to give him the direction, he, by feeding on the man, reveals his real identity as Sasuke Sarutobi, a ninja insect man. The news of Sasuke's arrival in Edo also reaches Jinbei, making him immediately leave his training and depart for Edo. Kotori and Shiresagaki reach the main market. Sasuke asks, "Where is Jinbei?" They try to stop him with Shiresagaki's powerful bullets and cannons. Jinbei also arrives in Edo and engages in the fight against Ninja Insect by cutting him with his samurai sword. However, Sasuke does not die but splits into two with a ninjutsu splitting technique. Believing the technique is an illusion, Jinbei tries to kill him again. But no matter how hard he tries, Sasuke splits again and increases in number. When Jinbei is about to lose, Hibachi and others arrive to help. Initially, they do not find a way to kill Sasuke, but soon, by discovering that separating the insect's neck from its body can stop it from splitting, Jinbei uses his father-taught Fuji Hammer and ends the battle. Everything settles in Edo, and a large swarm of crucifix insects appears out of nowhere and attacks Kishu province. In Edo, Insect Magistrate, while staying at 8 Shogun Tokugawa Yoshimune's place, think of a way to regain her powers. By talking to Yoshimune's son Ishige, Magistrate manages to know that her powers can be redeemed by traveling to Kishu. Meantime in Kishu, the insect leader Yukimura with his army approaches Kishu's lord Tokugawa and demands a giant ship in exchange for the Kishu people's life. Tokugawa agrees to grant his request in order to protect his people. Jinbei, still unaware of the magistrate's real identity, accompanies her on her journey to Kishu along with Oka. The group finally reaches Kishu, but they are restricted from entering the city because of Yukimura's order not to let any foreigner inside. After the group is not allowed, it chooses to intrude through Wakayama Castle from Kishu's second gate. But again, outside the castle, the group comes across castle guards, resulting in them running away. While hiding in the bushes and waiting for the guards' return, the group encounters Insect Man Jinpachi of 10 crucifix insects. After sensing Magistrate and her associates' presence in the bushes, Jinpachi jumps to attack them, but he gets stopped by Jinbei. Jinbei and Jinpachi battle against each other, but Jinpachi, because of exhibiting sharp blades and swift moves, stands above Jinbei. He even extends his blades and attacks Jinbei from a farther distance, but Jinbei manages to cope with the attack. But after witnessing Jinbei having a tough time in the battle, Jinpachi launches a crane wing eggs attack, decreasing Jinbei's strength. When Jinbei is still struggling from the last attack, he receives another strike of 3 consecutive blades, but Jinbei gracefully cuts through the attack by holding one blade in his mouth. He then charges back on Jinpachi with his sharp Fuji hammer attack and manages to flee away inside the city with Magistrate and Oka. The news of intruders entering the city reaches Yukimura, and he orders Tokugawa to kill them before Yukimura kills his people. The fear of losing his people forces Tokugawa to order the villagers of Kishu to find Magistrate and her associates. When village people finally find Jinbei and others, they try to kill them immediately, but Jinbei's group manages to escape. While running, Jinbei hides in a narrow lane from where he gets attacked by a little boy who wants to kill Jinbei for his village's protection. In order to run away, Jinbei comes out of the street, but village people corner him, leaving him no option but to surrender. But before they can attack on Jinbei, the bandits arrive to capture Magistrate and the others. In the meantime, one of the little girls of Kishu, Irori, sends a message to Hibachi through her squirrel friend Makoto. When bandits move forward to attack Jinbei and Magistrate, Oka steps in and stops them by defeating them brutally with his sharp samurai moves. The bandits' defeat brings happiness to the villagers' faces, and they decide to protect Jinbei's group from insect men. Just when villagers are hiding in a house with the group, two strong insect men arrive there after receiving the news of the Magistrate's group. They blackmail villagers by showing them abducted Irori, wanting them to give Magistrate and her friends. Suddenly, Jinbei comes out and battles them. Oka also accompanies him in the fight against the monsters, and both successfully defeat them. In the meantime, Insect Magistrate Office reaches Kishu and reunites with Magistrate and Jinbei. With Bizen's help, Oka manages to meet Kishu's nobility and successfully makes the plan to retrieve the treasure hidden in the Geet water. On the other hand, ship construction completes, but Yukimura gets back on his words and announces the insect's banquet before leaving Kishu. Using Takugawa, Yukimura gathers village people and opens the insect's feast. But before they start eating, the Insect Magistrate Office arrives there. Oka challenges Yukimura to a battle before feeding on Kishu's people. But instead of fighting, Yukimura presents his 10 crucifix insects, which they must defeat before approaching him. Saying this, Yukimura disappears, leaving his insects behind. In order to reach Yukimura, the group leaves in his search, but on the way they come across 10 crucifix insects. To defeat them, the group releases the attack in full swing, but the insects turn out to be illusionary dummies. The group decides to proceed further by staying together, but Jinbei's bad luck finds him and he separates from the group. In the group's search, he encounters Jinpachi again, who is eagerly waiting for a refight with Jinbei. Because of the dense water, initially Jinbei fails to attack, but he manages to strike Jinpachi with his samurai sword. The attack influences Jinpachi and forces him to release his evolved crane eggs attack, where eggs transform into larval insects. But even after being cornered by little bugs in the water, Jinbei kills them by gathering his strength and attacks Jinpachi with the strong Fuji hammer technique. Elsewhere in Yukimura's pursuit, the group encounters 10 crucifix insects head, Saizo. Since Jinbei is battling Jinpachi, Hibachi decides to fight against Saizo. Back to Jinbei, the powerful sword hammer technique weakens Jinpachi, but instead of dying, he shreds his insect skin and takes human form. As a water insect, Jinpachi summons water and attacks Jinbei, which ultimately defeats him. While lying helpless in the water when Jinpachi is about to end his life, Jinbei recalls his father's Fuji storm and by applying it defeats Jinpachi. Jinpachi finally dies and Jinbei proceeds again to find his lost friends. But as soon as Jinbei reaches Hibachi, he remains stunned to find her in the trap of Saizo's attack. As soon as he rushes to free Hibachi, it reveals that the trap was solely his illusion. Saizo breaks his insect shell and transforms into a man. He then tries to trap them into illusion, but by understanding Saizo's technique of using wings sound for creating illusion, Hibachi surpasses her limits. She helps Jinbei come out of the illusions and attacks Saizo, causing him to disappear. But Saizo does not die, instead travels as a shadow and approaches one of the men taking Magistrate and Mugai toward their mission. And after entering one of Magistrate's men, he also learns of Magistrate's real identity as well as her mission of retrieving her powers. Saizo informs Yukimura about Magistrate and her plan, intriguing him to stop her. On the other hand, Koikawa and his team enter the castle, but before his gang travels to Yukimura, two of the powerful cockroaches of 10 crucifix insects arrive. They try to trap Koikawa in their illusion, but he easily breaks through their imaginary vision and comes into the battle against him. In order to reunite friends, Hibachi and Jinbei also approach there. But Koikawa decides to fight alone against cockroaches by cutting them into pieces with his sharp sword. Even after killing them into several pieces, cockroaches regenerate again and come upon Koikawa with new power. After finding Koikawa powerful and planning to defeat him immediately, they shed their skin and take human form. And after being beaten by them, he thinks of an idea to stop their regeneration and cuts them into pieces that dissolve in the environment. Koikawa finally kills 2 of the 10 crucifix insects of Yukimura, but still, the team has to battle the remaining 3 most dangerous insects. To reach Yukimura, the group proceeds further inside the castle. While on the way, Jinbei and Tenma come across one of the 10 crucifix insects, and Jinbei encourages Tenma to battle this insect alone. But Tenma's fear makes him fight the insect reluctantly. He brings out his paper soldiers and tries to deliver strong slaps, but with sharp moves, the insect dodges the attack. During the battle, when Tenma is about to fall, the insect protects him only to beat him brutally later. Tenma gathers her courage to fight again, and fortunately, she manages to defeat them this time. Tenma overcomes another strong insect of 10 crucifix insects, but soon after, the group encounters Yukimura's most trusted Kake and Yuri. Meanwhile, Saizo, disguised as one of the magistrate's men, reports Yukimura of the magistrate's arrival near the Eternal Well, where her powers are hidden. In order to stop Magistrate from regaining her strength, Yukimura orders Saizo to stop hiding and kill her on time. When Saizo is about to attack Magistrate, Mugai, suspecting his presence, stops him in time. Saizo, by revealing himself, comes on the first ground and engages in a battle with Mugai. Elsewhere, Kake and Yuri battle against the Magistrate's office in Oka. While battling with Mugai, Saizo reveals Mugai's real identity as Insect Hunter, who was ordered to kill Magistrate. But without killing her, he decided to protect her by joining Insect Magistrate office. When others are fighting with Kake and Yuri, Oka and Jinbei decide to protect Magistrate in Mugai's absence. Before reaching Magistrate, Oka approaches Yukimura, while Jinbei goes to support Magistrate, reaching the poisonous Eternal Well. Just when Magistrate is about to enter the well, Yukimura, after brutally killing Oka, reaches there. In the battle with Saizo, Mugai tries to cope with his long, sharp blade of Insect Hunter, but he gets trapped in Saizo's illusion chain technique. When Yukimura informs Jinbei of Oka's miserable death, it enrages him and forces him to attack him. Using his Great Fuji Hammer attack, Jinbei tries to defeat Yukimura and lends Magistrate some time to enter the well. Saizo traps Mugai in his chain illusion, but Mugai comes out of the imaginary vision and attacks Saizo with his killing sword. Since Saizo gets weak while using his illusions and fails to dodge the attack, he dies on the spot. On the other hand, Kake and Yuri get more potent by transforming into their human form. According to Yukimura, if Magistrate regains her powers in the well, she'll lose her memory and unite with the Insect's king, resulting in the destruction of humanity. It gets revealed that in the past, the Magistrate or Princess Na had saved the Insect King. Therefore, when the enemy's soldiers attacked her castle, killing her, the bug resurrected and gave her overwhelming powers. Incidentally, she destroys everything on sight because the origin of the power came from this ugly mother lover. In order to save Magistrate from losing her memory, Jinbei jumps into the well and tries to stop her from regaining her power. Meanwhile, Mugai arrives and fights against Yukimura. On the other hand, the rest of the teammates are battling against Kake and Yuri, but the battle causes damage to the city. While fighting with Mugai, Yukimura recalls the past when he was Magistrate, Princess Na's loyal guard, whom an insect saved in the war. After surviving, Yukimura became evil and went against humanity. By launching his long, sharp blade attack, Mugai tries to kill him, but Yukimura reverses the blow toward Mugai. In time, Jinbei, by rescuing Princess Na, reaches Kishu's gate where he encounters Yukimura again. With his immense power, Yukimura tortures Jinbei and blackmails Princess to enter the well in exchange for Jinbei's life. To save Jinbei, Princess jumps into the well, which ultimately makes her lose her memory. When the rest of the team is struggling in the fight against Kake and Yuri, the head of the Insect Magistrate office, Kotori, reaches and with one blow kills them in a slash. After coming out of the well, Magistrate transforms into a butterfly that has no past memories and intends to kill her friends. Magistrate's transformation greatly delights Yukimura, causing him to swallow all Eternal Well magic and summon the insect's community. Jinbei does not lose hope and stands against him, but his mere power causes him severe injuries when Yukimura launches his deadly attack. After seeing Jinbei almost dead, other teammates try to battle Yukimura, but they get attacked by Yukimura's summoned insects. When Yukimura is about to end humanity, Jinbei reappears after transforming into an insect man. It reveals that Jinbei had Insect Hunter's blood, which, after mixing with Eternal Well's magic, changes Jinbei into a more powerful samurai. Along with Jinbei, other teammates unite and stand in front of Yukimura, but before they engage in a battle, Magistrate as an insect man interferes. By ordering Yukimura to leave Jinbei for her, she releases her brutal attacks on Jinbei and engages in the final battle. On the other hand, the rest of the teammates fight Yukimura, but their every move fails on this evil insect. After struggling for a while and absorbing Magistrate's poison, Jinbei successfully changes her heart and revives her memories. Using the last technique his father taught, Jinbei attacks Yukimura again and ultimately kills him. Every single insect on Kishu dies. After settling things, Insect Magistrate Office successfully returns Edo to live the rest of their life in peace.